Good morning and welcome to AutoTalk Live. Just a short episode again this week, though we always say that.
Yeah,
Coming from, at least from my side, Xingzhou, China, which looks sunny, but that's just the trick of the computer. It's actually quite cloudy and a bit dusty. Yeah.
shame for you.
Yes, well, today I'm here with BYD. Today we're off to see a giant BYD factory. So yes, should be interesting from that perspective. And then a lovely end of the day with a lovely cruise on the river. So yes.
You should start a travel show, Richard.
Well, this trip I'm off to Korea. So next week we'll be broadcasting from Korea as well. So yeah. It's interesting getting to see some of the stuff, see how it works. And the latest AutoTalk out now, by the way. There's a story where on my last trip to China, I actually went and visited 5 BYD dealers in a day just to go see how the overseas guys do it. So, well, a lot of these trips are for our other publications, EVs Beyond, Autocar. Sometimes you got to find the stories from the dealer side. Go see how people do things differently. Went for another wander around a dealership yesterday. It's good. A lot of dealers here are in outlets in malls. They're big on mall car dealerships here. So yeah, interesting.
And no stock, is that right? So mall dealership front, maybe a car in the window sort of thing, but no other facilities whatsoever, just the single
So
car.
they have big dealerships and delivery centers for that. Yeah, exactly. But more from retail frontage. Yeah, and sometimes combined with cell phone stores because cars are gadgets these days, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And how you doing? How you doing back home there?
Well, here we are from the sunny climes of Henderson, West Auckland. We'll be almost a travel show, but not quite. So, dare I say that there's been a little bit of a heartbeat in the market, and that's always good. It has been noticeably a couple of weeks or three where we've seen every single rep from every single service company. I don't think there's not a finance company we haven't seen, or a warranty company, or an oil reseller, or a cleaning company, or when it's quiet, when all the reps come and visit. And bless you all that know us. We love to see you. Just bring coffee and donuts next time, would you? But it's quiet when everyone's doing the rounds because there's just nothing going on in the office. Well, I think there's been a little bit of a lift, and I've been saying this for a few weeks now. I think we're maybe off the floor. We're not quite fighting fit yet, but we're off the floor, and that's good, right?
Yeah. Well, no doubt you're probably there alone, and you're going to get about half a dozen people walk up to try and buy cars while we're trying to broadcast today.
And love doing the show because every single time that happens, right? Or I'll go and get some lunch, and that's always a guaranteed. I was here till 7 o'clock at night, I should have selling a vehicle, organising a vehicle for a client. So things we do.
That's great. That's great. Excellent. Right, well, let's get on with the news. We're going to get a few stories today, just keeping it brief because you never can tell how the great internet wall of China will work. So, got to make these things work. And first up is the budget. Now, it came out with a bit of an enhancement that had been asked. It's been asked for a while in some forms, but after it was used in Australia during COVID, but we've now got it in a very small form. A new tax break could boost vehicle investment/sales. A major new tax incentive announced in Budget 2025 is expecting to spur business investment in productive assets, including vehicles, by offering immediate tax relief on new purchases. Dubbed the investment boost, the policy allows businesses to deduct 20% of the cost of eligible new assets from their taxable income in the year of purchase on top of standard depreciation deductions. The scheme applies to a wide range of capital assets, including vehicles, machinery, tools, equipment, technology, commercial buildings, land, residential property, and second-hand assets already in New Zealand are excluded. And there's a key aspect there. You can use it to buy a used import vehicle. Just saying. There is no upper cap on investment, meaning the incentive applies equally to small firms purchasing a single ute and larger businesses upgrading entire fleets. To illustrate the benefit, a company purchasing a new BYD Shark 6 plug-in hybrid ute at a retail price of $69,990, including GST, would be able to claim a deduction of $12,173 in the year of purchase. That's basically the price minus GST, and then 20% of that. Now that's on top of the 30% deduction you'd make if you were using diminishing value on that vehicle. This would translate to a tax saving of approximately $3,408 at the standard corporate tax rate of 28%. So let's be clear here, because there is some there, and look, it may end up that I'm proven wrong. But there is some debate here as to whether this is a tax credit or a deduction. I have looked at it inside out half a dozen times. This is a deduction, not a tax credit. So some people have said you're getting that, you can just go and claim that 20% back straight off your tax. You can't. It's essentially you're claiming it off your income that reduces your taxable income as a company and then reduces the amount of income tax you have to pay. So it is a small benefit, but it's a notable benefit. It's basically on a lot of these vehicles, it's a 5% discount in the first year on top of, yeah. Though the ultimate thing with it is that it actually adds out zero for the government, in that, sorry, for the customer, in that you ultimately can't claim that money back later. So you are getting less of a deduction straight away. But I guess anything's good, right? So
it's a kickstart. It's just a kickstart. If you like, advancing the kickstart to perhaps stimulate.
The government is not giving anyone a cent of money. Essentially, what they're saying is this money that you would have been able to claim back over what 5 years or whatever. I can't remember the timing, isn't it? You can now claim back slightly earlier. So yeah, no, they're not giving you a cent on it. It's just advance it. But the other aspect to it is that psychologically people are going, wow, I can claim back an extra 20% this year. And if these are businesses that are doing well, then that helps. They get a bit more money back in the thing from their profit. They've had less income tax, or it goes on to your reducing your losses for the year, I guess, ultimately.
It's a cash flow tool, effectively, isn't it?
No, it's not a cash flow tool, really.
Well, okay, call it what you like.
If it was an instant that you applied that week and that month and it came back with your GST or something like that, then that would be a cash flow tool. This just slightly reduces your corporate income tax basically for that year.
Well, sorry, a 12-month cash flow tool then, but effectively that's what it is.
Yes.
Just over a longer period of time, exactly. And that's one of the concerns right now has been the level of or lack of investment available for business, particularly small businesses, to carry forward. There's not been a lot of money floating around, and in terms of being able to make forward investment decisions rather than just everyone sitting on their hands, which has been the killer of the economy, really, is everyone holding tight. It's every last little tool to try and bring some degree of stimulus back over the next 12, 24 months.
Yes, that's right. So the flip side of that, of course, is now your 17 or 18-year-old can't get the dole. So if you've got a 17-year-old or 18-year-old that is not working, your eligibility or your affordability to finance just got a little bit harder.
I'll remind my son of that.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, no, that's anything else from the budget stand out to you, Graham? You know, you're a bit of a political nerd.
Well, if I'd been through it in some detail, Richard, I could give you all the answers. But you know what? I've actually was really busy yesterday, and I have not deep dived into anything at all. I didn't get home last night till 7:45, and then about the last thing in my mind at that point in time was looking at anything. I was snoozerama by about 10 o'clock after cooking dinner. So no, that's a job for today and the weekend.
My only concern out of the budget is that it's a budget where they have done a lot of cost cutting, which I'm not saying wasn't needed at all. I'm not saying wasn't needed. But I guess we've got to look at it in some ways, and that sometimes budget cost cutting can be good. In other ways, though, if the government cuts, I can't remember, it's a number of $1 billion out of their spending, that can affect some people down the line from a business perspective. Money coming out of the economy is not always necessarily a good thing. More efficient government spending is, but yeah. See how much they cut.
What's the number?
Let's find out what the number is. $1.3 billion. Well, that's the budget's operating allowance. So yes.
1.3
Yeah,
billion these days doesn't sound like a whole lot on the scheme of things, does it? We've become immune to the scope of the numbers that are involved.
yes. Not sure if that's the whole number though. Yeah. So anyway, they giveth with one hand, they take away.
And that has been budgets since time immemorial, hasn't it? There's always been the pros and the cons.
Yes, that's right.
I remember, and somebody was reminding me of this just a couple of days ago, and I think it must have been 1998, the budget in 98, where they removed the last of the duty of imported vehicles. It was the afternoon, about 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the afternoon. We're all listening to it on the radio, on the wireless, as we did back in those days. And it was an instant removal. It was like literally an overnight removal. And Nick and I went racing out there in the dealership with big fat marker pens, and we literally slashed the remaining duty value off our stock right there and then. By about 3:30, we had completely repriced the entire yard, because you could obviously claim back on your stock. I think about 95% of our stock was eligible. And we literally had price changes within a couple of hours of the budget. It was interesting times.
Well, I can't see anything like that happening this year. It's actually net spending's up slightly, but yeah, we'll see how it all translates in the economy. I think this investment boost, which let's call it what is it, some slightly advanced depreciation, will help. I think it's definitely going to help at field days. A lot of those dairy farmers are getting juicy fat payout checks at the moment, and they'll be looking at ways to not have to pay quite so much tax on that for the next year. So
it's going to be a good year to be a tractor salesman at the field days. That's all I could say about that.
Well, yeah, I guess the only flip side of that, though, is there's no time limit on this. So you can use it any time over the next few years. So it may be that people don't quite rush, but hey, look, positive. Right, let's move on to a nice story. And that is from vehicle groomer to dealer principal, Delaney moves to Fagan Motors. So Ford New Zealand is delighted to share that Colonial Motor Company has appointed Alex Delaney as dealer principal at Fagan Motors, the Marston-based Ford dealership. Delaney has most recently been the North Harbour Mazda sales manager with the Eagles Automotive Group. Starting his career as a groomer, he's progressed steadily through various sales and executive roles. He's worked with both Ford and Mazda, and looking forward to continuing the relationship with both brands. He's moving to Marston for the job. So the reason we put this story up, it's a little move here and there, but another groomer to become a dealer principal.
That's brilliant. That's actually a really good story. Yep.
The trope is real. He's a young chap who's going to move down to a smaller town from the big smoke. But that is, I love a good vehicle groomer story, because we've got so many of our major dealers started washing cars. What is it that causes groomers to go to the top, Graham?
I've got an example of that in the office next door to me. He'd argue he's not on the top, perhaps, but well done, Alex, because I think it's a real Kiwi success story where people can literally start at the ground. Because let's face it, groomers in most dealerships are that's the start here, the people that get washed out at the end of the day. It's a great story. Maybe it's just because they see every aspect of the basic operation, the stuff behind the scenes, so to speak. And they get that innate understanding of how it really works right from the get-go, and that stands you in good stead going forward.
They're also about value add, I guess. They can see what can be done to improve a deal, right? So a groomer can see a car come in that might be worth X, and it can leave their bay worth X plus 10%.
And absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. The first piece is the value adding.
Yeah. Right, so that's congrats there. Now we have another appointment. The new MD announced for BMW Group New Zealand. BMW Group New Zealand today announced a change in leadership, with Managing Director Adam Shaver set to take on a global role at BMW Group headquarters in Munich. After 3.5 years leading the New Zealand business, Shaver has been appointed head of global used car strategy and steering. Shaver has been a member of the BMW Group for more than 2 decades, holding senior sales and marketing positions across BMW and Mini in Munich and Canada. So it's taking the reign in New Zealand. He's introduced a new business structure and operating model focused on collaborating.
It's new about a 3 or 4 year turn, isn't it? BMW tend to be about a 3 or 4 year turn, yes, don't they? They've got quite a consistent pattern of.
Well, since they went to the international heads, back when they had the New Zealand ones, it was a lot longer. BMW Group is pleased to announce that Francois Roca will succeed Share as Managing Director effective July 1, 2025. Roca brings more than 20 years of international automotive experience to his role, having held senior positions in sales, marketing, and dealer development across Europe. So yeah, another great thing that BMW's been doing okay in New Zealand in recent years. Now, Kia's CEO has visited New Zealand. Kia Corporation President and Chief Executive Song Ho Sung recently travelled to New Zealand, stopping at the brand's national head office in Auckland and crossing the Harbour Bridge to visit the country's top-performing Kia dealership. There he is with some New Zealand dealership royalty in the form of the Giltraps and a few other people. The visit serves an opportunity for Mr. Song to receive a business update from the local team and see firsthand the first New Zealand dealership showcasing Kia's updated global corporate identity. Mr. Song's visit provided a forum to discuss strategic alignment and highlight a shared vision of business-orientated goals. Obviously, they've got a lot coming up in the form of the Tasman Ute and new EV product. Kia is an integral part of the Giltrap Group's new model portfolio, especially in the EV space and also with the new Tasman Ute. So it's a privilege to host Mr. Song while he was in Auckland, said Michael Giltrap. It's a real sign of belief in the product that the President and CEO decided to come to our showroom. It also provided a great confidence boost for our team. So yes, Kia obviously has been doing very well in New Zealand. Lots of new product coming. Got to go through a ring change with the Tasman.
And who would have predicted this? So 20 years ago, when Kia was just a sort of a newborn on the block, 25 years ago, who would have predicted? I believe number 2 was it last month in terms of overall sales. Number 2 on passenger vehicles.
In passenger, I think. Yeah.
In passenger, yeah, number 2. Who would have thought? So perhaps a pat on the back for just the work that Kia have done in New Zealand. Strong product line, obviously good leadership teams, and again, who would have thought? And here we are.
Yep, exactly. Right, and now, well, Star Australia is a bit of a sad one, but I guess a sign of maybe things at the other end of that budget need to change a little bit, and that is that dealer close to close after long delays to advanced cancer. A Hawke's Bay car dealer has been left battling stage 3 bowel cancer after waiting more than a year for a colonoscopy, far beyond the 42-day target for semi-urgent cases. Steve McKinnon, 75, was forced to shut the doors of Beresford Auto Sales, the Hastings dealership he ran with his wife for 7 years. After delays in the public health system led to a late diagnosis, the couple say the emotional financial toll has been immense, leaving them reliant on a pension and work and income support. We could have carried on with the business if it had been diagnosed earlier, McKinnon told Hawke's Bay Today, but when we found it, the damage was already huge. McKinnon's symptoms began in early 2024, but despite 2 urgent GP referrals and months of calls to the hospital, he was told he was still on a waiting list. After 14 months, he finally had the procedure in March 2025, more than 12 months later than the advised timeframe. Health New Zealand has apologised and admitted that McKinnon was not prioritised right and slipped through the system. So yes, bit of a sad one there. He's not in the best shape, unfortunately, after this. And we've had a lot of dealerships collapse in recent years. Not all of them are always 100% because of the economy, unfortunately. So we do hope he makes a recovery. But that's a bit of a sad story there from the Hawke's Bay. And when you're cursing the government for not cutting more, sometimes you can't.
Recent benefactor of the public health service. And there's a flip side to that. I can say that I've had nothing but exceptional care through the public health system. In fact, I was only back this week for a checkup through my cardio people. And they've been, I've got to say, really, really good. So it is, I guess it's like a bit of a lottery always, isn't it? There's going to be, unfortunately, people that slip through those little cracks through faults in the system that I don't know, even in a perfect world, if we'd still have a perfect system. And for him, it's, I really feel from that's a very, very difficult position to be in. But we seem to get these stories, no matter how good our system is and no matter how much money we put into it, there still seem to be cracks somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. Car dealers, you may be Superman, but you're still human as well. So just remember that. Both from a health perspective, and last week we had a dealer missing for a while that we won't repeat through now because he has been found. Look after yourselves and keep an eye on your mates out there from both sides.
Get your checkups, lads. Get your checkups. We said this a couple of years ago. Get your checkups.
Yes, I'm turning 45 years this year, which means I think I start going onto the scheduled colonoscopy. So
Wait till you go on the treadmill at the cardio units, Richard. Oh, that is so much fun. Nah.
Anyway, a bit of a short and muted one there as far as the AutoTalk Weekly Wrap goes, but yeah, we'll see how things go next week.
Oh, hey, have you got your 747 yet?
My 747?
Yeah, remember last week you were practically being promised a 747 for all the you were having an Air New Zealand moment, and you were asking for a 747 in exchange for your better travel monologues to have.
Right. Look, I had an excellent flight up on Air New Zealand, chatting to the one of the deputy cabin managers about the experience there, who was quite shocked, but I sense not unsurprised by the issues that Air New Zealand are having at a customer service level. But an excellent flight up as expected. And then we arrived, and the door swung open at Hong Kong, and waiting there was the ground manager who had caused all the kerfuffle on our last trip there. I'm not sure if he recognized me. He wouldn't recognize me because I wasn't one of the ones making a kerfuffle. But yes, that was amusing. I think a few of us have some slight mental trauma from that guy. So yeah, no, funny to see that. But no, nothing. They still haven't even answered emails, and amusingly, the actual airpoints and stuff from that flight that the issues were on never arrived either. So yes, but
Just think,
yeah,
even a worse day could be a shipyard builder in North Korea right about now.
I haven't seen that news. What's going on there?
Well, let's just say if you're a shipyard builder or a shipyard worker in North Korea at the moment that works on military ships, you may be looking for a place to hide for a very, very long time. You'll see. It'll be in the news.
Has something sunk? I haven't seen the news. I'll have to go see the news. Yes.
Kim Jong-il's latest destroyer, I think, had a bit of a mishap on the launching platform and capsized, and it's the fault of the shipyard that built it. And he's promising.
Well, I'm hoping it doesn't give him an itchy finger, because as I said, I'm going to be in Seoul in a few days' time. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, you carry on having a wonderful travel time and look at motor vehicles as well.
Zhe for joining us, and yeah, we'll go and catch you next week for the AutoTalk Weekly Wrap.
And we'll go sell some cars in New Zealand and keep you going.